So, what we got going on here? I saved a whole bunch. Then the first bison set, I don't know if I'm gonna be too crazy about it. Is it against the same guy? No. Alright, this one here. Looks like this bison's slightly ranked higher than this one. We'll watch the birdie first and save the bison one for last, just because we have more bison matches. We'll start with the one that you fought first, and it's this one. Let's view this replay.
Round one.
So you start the match off with a bad fireball. Now, it's fine. It's not a big punish. Right here, that stand medium punch after shoulder is not a punish. You're actually missing out on a punish opportunity here. If birdie does a shoulder on block and you're within range, stand light kick is 4 frames. That's a 4-frame punish. So a punish that you can do is stand light kick, Tatsumaki. You can cancel light kick Tatsu or medium kick Tatsu or EX Tatsu for a punish combo. You can also do light kick into EX fireball. These are your punish options. Nice cross up, some safe pressure, some dash up pressure. This is good. Alright. Now, when birdie does the chain on block from that distance, you can literally dash up and apply pressure. It's that negative. If close enough, you can punish. So keep that in mind. There's also a slow startup on this chain move. So if you're thinking about it and the birdie is getting ready to throw out that chain, you can react to the chain startup and punish it as if it were a fireball, or even parry. This command grab here that you just got caught by is a staple to all birdies. It's important that you neutral jump when you see the startup of this command grab. Alright, so this is the command grab that you need to avoid. Alright, now the EX one has a faster startup time, but it's still important that you train yourself and train the idea, like constantly start to, even if you miss a punish on something, like the shoulder that we spoke about earlier, or you miss the neutral jump on the reaction to him doing the command grab, or even if you miss the startup on the chain, is what I meant to bring up. If you miss the startup on the chain and you react late to it, the fact that you're thinking about these punishes, the fact that you're thinking about these reactions, reacting to these things to punish birdie, in itself is training your ability to punish these things. So the idea alone, the intention being there and thinking about it, even if messing up the execution or whatever, is enough practice to get better at it. So start training the idea in your mind to go for these punishes, to go for the reaction on the chain. Alright, continuing on. Alright, now that's a punish right there. So at this range, you going into this Denjin EX Fireball is fine, it's completely fine, but also know your options when you're hitting a crouching opponent. You can go into Donkey Kick for a confirm, that's a meterless confirm, and it can hit the crouching opponent. Now because birdie's in the corner, you actually get Oki off of Donkey Kick. Now if you don't know any, that's another conversation, but in the future, I'll be actually making Oki setups off of Donkey Kick. Nice conversion. Okay, attack. Alright, so there's one of two things that can happen when your opponent is blocking a jump in. Either they're revving up, getting ready to do a V-reversal, or they're pressing buttons, or they're attacking. So you gotta look to exploit one of the things that they're doing. Alright, let's back up a little bit and make sense of what was happening in this whole sequence. You got anti-aired, right? Tough cross-up to see. It's a knockdown, goes for the same cross-up. You block everything. He steals a turn. So another thing that we need to train is our ability to react to dashes. Okay? So this birdie here, he dashes forward and he steals a turn after doing a jab jab. Okay? This should not be happening at all. What you need to do is you need to be reacting to that dash, and you need to be hit confirming jab jab into Tatsu, jab jab into DP, jab jab into EX Tatsu, whatever. You need to do a light confirm, a light chain attack into special move to punish that dash. That should not be free. He should be getting punished for that, and you should be building offense and momentum from that because he dashed. Punish dashes. He catches you with the double dash, the dash up, command throw. Remember that chain is negative, so you can literally dash up and apply some pressure. And that reaction, it literally takes no reaction for birdies to do that through fireball. They're literally releasing a button. It's not even a button press. So if you feel your opponent is charging or holding the button to go through fireball, if you're gonna test it at a range where it's hard for him to react. Like this range right here that you're at, if you were to be throwing a fireball here consistently and like walking in and out of this range, it'll be tougher for the birdie to react and commit to that overhead. Like he would literally have to have a really strong read to do it. Outside of that, they're guessing, and them gambling with that, that's a crush counter, that's a full punish, a corner carry. So definitely keep that in mind. Spacing on throwing your fireballs, using it as a poke, and changing up the game plan of that poke. Not the game plan. Changing up, sporadically using it is what I'm trying to say. So like, you know, throwing a fireball at this range, getting to this range and waiting, getting to this range, walking up and doing medium kick, getting to this range, throwing fireball and walking back. Like you have to play with each of the things that you can do at this range. Like you don't always have to throw fireball, or you don't always have to wait, or maybe you can always wait. It's about having variety in your offensive approach and giving your opponent an opportunity to do something. Alright, some nice dash pressure. He's not checking it. Beautiful neutral jump, okay? Now, if your opponent doesn't know their... Like, right here, the opponent here, he does a back wake up. I don't know if you notice, his back gets pulled on that. You can double dash, stand jab, double dash, crouch jab him on his wake up right here. You gotta go for your meaty setups. So that's funny, we have the sound of the chain spinning and it's not even spinning yet. We want to go into training mode. And we want to make sure that we have setups for after whatever it is we knock our opponent down with, whether it be an EXDP, not EXDP, whether it be a DP, whether it be a light Tatsu, medium Tatsu, heavy Tatsu, a EX Fireball, whatever knockdown we get, we want to practice our setups so that we are able to safely apply pressure if we have the read on the opponent's wake-up timing. Now, a lot of the times, specific characters tend to gravitate to primarily resorting to one wake-up over the other to throw off people's timings. It's just, I noticed this, like, for example, this birdie here, he does back roll wake-up more times than not. And if he's gonna change it up, he might do normal wake up timing to where he won't press anything. So keep that in mind. Pay attention to the wake up options your opponent decides to go for, and act accordingly. Punish this. Apply pressure. Mix it up. These are mix-ups on the ground, on the wake up, that you need to start thinking about, because this is also going to start to net you offensive pressure and getting your opponent to commit to an unsafe option. And this command grab here, man, you gotta react to that. It's fine. Obviously, this is the one replay that I'm telling you this, and it's gonna happen a lot. But start training that ability to react to birdies. That move is awesome. They buffed a lot of normals to hit behind opponents' characters' heads. Characters that don't have like special moves and stuff, so like Mika's crouch medium punch and birdies. A lot of birdies normals are really good. His crouch medium punch and that button there. Okay. Really nice dash up. And that was a simple confirm from him, but the reason why it was so good was because he actually confirmed it off the hit. It's an easy complaint. Nice throw. Alright. I know you want to activate that sweep into Denjin V-Trigger. A lot of people really try to fish for V-Trigger activation, so it's when it becomes obvious like this, it's never good to, like, your opponent knows you're fishing for it at this point with all the sweeps that we've seen, and you activate it actually on sweep. Because of the latest buff to Ryu's V-Trigger, he can actually do EX Fireball into V-Trigger like you've done earlier in this match. So remembering that and doing that at a safe range is probably better in some instances, because whether they block it or not, you get to apply some pressure or bait invincible reversals like a CA or an EXDP or whatnot. But definitely there are other options, and instead of like playing frantically in the situation, maybe you could have just walked up and see the reaction he might have had. Maybe he didn't have a reaction. Maybe you can literally jump over him and you would have been out. Maybe you could have jumped Tatsu out. Like, you have to exercise these options as opposed to swinging for the fences. So definitely it's better for you to make mistakes and test the waters as opposed to just going for the same thing. You know, like literally exhaust all options as a fighter, as a Ryu player. You need to try to maximize all of your options, and that in itself is a challenge, but you need to start doing it. Alright, so we pretty much just went over the last game. It was the first match against the Birdie. What can we take from that game? We want to focus on developing some sort of offensive pressure on our opponent's wake up, and we need to know our opponent's defensive options. So as a Birdie has that EX move that he can do on wake up, which is throwable. So if the Birdie is waking up with this move, you need to show him you know the punish, so you need to go for throw. Get him to think about the idea of him wasting that bar and you punishing it, or you applying pressure. So we want to figure out setups to get ourselves into a position where we can either throw or we can do immediate attack if they press a button to get counter hit. This means we need to go to training mode and we need to hit the lab, figure out setups off of various special moves that will help us in these situations. So the next replay that we're gonna watch is going to be, I don't think I want to watch the Birdie match. Actually, we'll watch the Birdie match. Let's go ahead and watch the Birdie. Now, there's a lot that we can learn in a perfect, of losing in a perfect. So there's probably a lot of things he was taking advantage of, or things we did not have answers to. So this can definitely be beneficial. We need to look past the fact that we're losing, and we need to look at the smaller things that are happening throughout the match. We need to come up with answers to these mini battles that are happening, and we need to start to figure out how to win these mini battles within the match. You win enough of these mini battles within the match and you win the game. Okay? So he's doing a lot of things out of range, and you need to take note of this, and you need to try to whiff punish and punish him for doing things out of range. Okay? Right here, nice contest. Okay? Now we dashed into that. We have to remember that when you're fighting against someone, it's almost as if you're dancing with your opponent. A battle in Street Fighter is like a dance. You have to make sense out of what your opponent is doing so that you can counteract that. Whenever we get hit by things like when we dash in and we get hit by a chain, or we're running into normals, or we're trying to contest on buttons that were negative, it's because we're not paying attention to what's happening. So you need to start to dance with your opponent, so to speak. You need to see what they're doing. You need to walk forward when they walk back. You need to play with the space that's in between the two of you. Think about the buttons that he's gonna press. think about how he's trying to counter your buttons and continue to mix up what's going on throughout the match. He jumps, you DP. He stays grounded, you walk into a particular range, you poke. Next time you get into that particular range, you wait, or you walk in, you walk out, and you whiff punish. You gotta start exercising these things. Okay, so let's go ahead and continue this. Let's see what's going on here. Alright, so that's that command grab we were talking about. You gotta work on reacting to that. This overhead that he just did on block, that's -4. -6 actually. I think universally most overheads are -6. For the exception of a few characters that are -2 that are negative frames. But this one in particular is punishable. So what does the punishment want to do with Ryu? It being -6 at a particular range, you can do stand strong. Before safe, more consistent punish, I suggest you go for stand light kick. So again, like previously, our stand light kick cancelables are stand light kick into Tatsu, light Tatsu, stand light kick into medium kick Tatsu, stand light kick into EX Tatsu, stand light kick into EX Fireball, and so on and so forth. If really close, you can confirm stand jab, stand light kick DP. But for the most part, the safe punish is probably going to be light kick into Tatsu. So he does the overhead after the command grab right there, and he committed completely into that special. Now right here, train your ability to react to the fact that he did this move. You could sweep right there. All right, nice V trigger. You got crushed, so you could have blocked in time. You got hit pressing something. You could have blocked and you could have EXDP'd. Alright, you got caught in the jump frames there. Alright. Right there is where you need to neutral jump. And now he's just going nuts because he's been catching you with command grabs. And at this point, you're just trying to escape, hold back, and get out. You're a little rattled, but yeah. So this round in particular, there's not much to go off of. Despite that, earlier I had said that we can learn a lot in perfects. Now, a lot of the times, a lot of bullshit happens, and you just get caught by a lot of things. But in particular, we got to keep our cool when we get caught by things, and remember that sometimes we need to just try to breathe and make sense of what's happening, even if our opponent might be playing quote-unquote random. So the next replay we're going to watch is actually versus a Bison. Now it looks like you lost this set, but it went down to the wire, or not down to the wire, but at least to the third round. So let's try to nitpick and see what we can do better in this match. Okay, so Bison can obviously apply a lot of pressure, but there are ends to his pressure and ways to handle the pressure. So I'm gonna do my best to try to give you as much knowledge as possible to handle Bison.
This is the path of my destiny. Round 1. Fight.
Alright, right here. This is a punish. Whenever Bison does the purple flame wall, this is a sweep punish or low forward into heavy Tatsu. Okay, but this is definitely a punish of some sort. So you're going to want to start punishing this move. Nice check on that dash. Alright. That was a random slide, is unfortunate. You blocked that and that's a full punish. Nice check on the dash with the throw. It's kind of hard to react to Bison's dash, but if you start going for it, you get used to it and you'll actually start to be able to check it. So he's getting away with doing the dash and pressure on you. Alright, we need an anti-air. No, we're resorting to air-to-airs, which is not, it's not completely bad, but if we go for the air-to-air, we'll get the positioning and the knockdown. But here, you got a nice meaty pressure. Crouch strong into crouch strong. Right here, you're +2, but Crouch Strong is a 6-frame startup, so there's actually 4-frame gap in between this block string. Okay, so if Bison was crackhead enough, or angsty enough, or just didn't respect you, he could have literally done stand light kick into scissors, or stand light kick into EX scissors. But yeah, he could. What I'm getting at is that he can blow up this string. So a 3-frame trap that I would like to see you start to apply is Crouch Strong into Stand Strong. This is a 3-frame trap. Okay, so if your opponent is to press anything 3 frames or slower, they will get clipped. Okay. And you jumping into that fireball here is not really playing and paying attention to what your opponent is doing, because you actually jump after the fireball is thrown. So we got to do a better job of looking at our opponent and seeing what it is they're doing. Got to check that dash, so we're resorting to teching throw and neutral jumping, putting ourselves in punish situations. You can also do back roundhouse if you feel like he might dash. So if he dashes, he gets clipped. If he doesn't, he'll block, or he'll be at a safe range. And don't be obvious with it, obviously, because the Bison can move punish it, slow startup, and easy to punish. We gotta capitalize on the damage opportunities that we do get. Okay, and anti-airing again. This is a punish opportunity. We drop it. So in the corner here, you tend to get crossed up a lot in the same way, and he does this string, and he dashes, and you get clipped by one or the other. Okay, so what needs to happen is we need an anti-air here. Practicing our cross-cut DP or jump back jab will help tremendously. Okay, Bison is negative on scissors on block, so you can stand medium kick here to reach him. Nice target combo. We're a little late on the conversion. Alright, nice. Conversion? Yes, hit confirm. Nice. I would do without the meter, but it's fine. You got the setup, you got the pressure, you press the button, counter hit. Beautiful round, way to close it out.
Good.
Very
Final
good.
round. Fight.
Okay, contest. Alright, we're contesting with a very slow button there, so like if he were to be stubborn and contest with something, you would get counter hit. So I suggest, if close enough, stand light kick fireball, stand medium kick, walk up, stand crouch medium kick fireball. These are your options, okay? But definitely switch it up. Maybe walk up throw. Contest your opponent, show them that it's your turn and you know it, and then you can start playing with different options to disrespect that mental frame advantage that you now have, and that real frame advantage that you have, because he's -2 on scissors. Okay, we need to convert off of that. Anti-airs, same situation of the Bison crossing you up in the corner. So right here, I would say you need to focus on anti-airing. And a lot of people, it's frowned upon for a lot of Ryus. Like, I don't resort to it a lot myself, just because I just don't have the habit. But I'm not opposed to Ryus actually anti-air parrying when it's hard for them to defend. Now, in this situation, I would actually suggest that you go for a parry or cross-cut DP or a evasive jump back jab to stop the Bison from crossing you up and applying pressure here. Alright? You gotta go into training mode, and you need to practice this against Bison in particular, and every other character you come across that gives you trouble when they cross you up. Bison's jump, I think that's his medium kick, is pretty good, so definitely practice that. So we'll see it again, and we'll talk about what happened. Right here, boom. Okay, so you can actually parry. Nice confirm, nice hit confirm. Your turn. Good medium punch. Okay. We gotta take note of his habits. He goes for the head stomp a lot in the same situations. Like right there, after block string sequences. And here's where you start to make adjustments. He's done it 3 times in a row now. Nice. Okay, what's our setup? So you get a back wake up setup with Ryu on light punch Shoryuken anywhere on screen. You can do light punch Shoryuken, dash up solar plexus. If they press a button on wake up in this situation, on back wake up, they're gonna get clipped. But man, I hope that this helps you out. I hope that I was able to bring forward some insight and knowledge on the character matchups and what I saw when watching you play. So review this and start exercising these things that I'm talking about. The main thing to take away from these match analysis is I would say to start to pay attention to what your opponent is doing, and your opponent's decisions, your opponent's space on screen, position on screen, should dictate what you're thinking about doing, okay? And vice versa. And you should start to mix up and apply different things after showing your opponent a certain card in your hand, and changing that up and applying mix-ups on that. You want to start mixing up your opponent in different situations in the fight, whether it be on their wake up, whether it's on your wake up, you waking up defensively, whether it be after a particular block string. Maybe you don't complete that block string, maybe you go for a disrespectful throw, maybe you complete the block string, maybe you complete it with a different string. You got to do this so that your opponent doesn't get used to what it is you're showing them or what it is you're doing. You got to keep them on their toes, and you have to apply variety in every aspect of the match, defensively, offensively, and you got to be dynamic in your approach. You can't just be offense, 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 or defense, defense, defense. You have to learn to change speeds throughout the match. You have to get a feel for when it is I have to be offensive. When is it that I have to be defensive? Can I be offensive right now? Should I be trying to test my DP here? Alright? So all this comes in time and experience. There is no epiphany that's going to happen. All of this in getting better is going to be a gradual process. So just keep it up, keep practicing, and you will get better, man. Now all the math is no that you need to glow.